everyone, it's Keela here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video where we're going to go and make the first of 3 locally inspired soaps. I was inspired by a little coastal town just north of us called Noosa. It's about a 1-hour drive away and it's well known for several reasons. It's got the most beautiful sands around. Some of the beaches have just got pure white sand, and there's also lots of cliffs with those sort of peachy orangey sands in them as well. Now the other thing Noosa is very well known for is its shopping precinct and all its fabulous restaurants. The best sort of way of me to really describe it to people who are not in the area, it's kind of like the Hamptons for Australia. So hubby and I actually did take a drive up north to Noosa one day, and I went and took a little bit of sand from off the beach. Now before we get into this video, I do want to clarify a few things before people come at me for it. Now all over the world our beaches are very much so governed by rules and regulations, so you need to know your rules and regulations when it comes to taking things from off the beach. Here in Australia, if a beach is designated as national park, you are not even allowed to take a stick from off that beach, let alone seashells and sand. But there are other beaches throughout Australia where you are allowed to take just little bits of sand for educational or art purposes. You cannot go down there and take sand to go and fill your sand pit or to make a giant sand sculpture at home. It has to be within reason, and I only took a very small amount of sand from off the beach. This will be the only time I actually make this soap because of those rules and regulations which are in place when it comes to taking things from off of the beaches here. So if you are inspired to make a soap using sand, make sure you are looking at the rules and regulations in your area, and if you're not sure, just pop on down to one of the craft shops or any of your landscaping shops and things like that and grab some sand from there instead. But for now, what we're going to do is go and take a quick drive up to Noosa, and then we're going to get on to making the Noosa Sands soaps. Let's go. Alright, I am back with my little jar of sand here. I've only got a small jar. Didn't want to take too much because it does, you know, you're taking away from the natural environment. Plus there are a lot of rules and regulations about taking things from off the beaches, especially if they're national park. Now where we were was not national park at all, so I've only taken a little bit, and I believe you can do it if it's for artistic purposes. You're not allowed to go down to the beach and take like kilos of the stuff to fill up sand pits and things like that. That is taking the absolute mick. But the amount that I've got here is probably about the same amount that you take home in the knickers of your swimwear when you leave the beach. So I've only got a small amount here, and what I'm going to do is sift it to get out all of these little bits of stick, and I've got it on my scale so I know exactly how much sand that I have got to go in this soap, so that if I do want to ever replicate the soap, I can. Though probably what I'll do if I replicate it, I'll see if I can actually buy some sand locally that is Australian sand as well. So let's get all that sifted to get rid of all the bits we don't want. I'm just going to go and get rid of that bit. Alright, put them back on so we get an accurate reading. Okay, I've got about 300 grams worth of sand here, so let's get on to making this soap. Alright, so we've got our oil and our lye water, and I have got lots of colours over here to be mixing up. So we're going to start, as always, pouring our lye water into our oils. Then we'll start separating them out for those colours, and I'm going to kind of almost do 2 layers. I want a beach layer and a water layer, but unlike my seashell soap that I do, I'm actually going to make the beach layer much bigger because I want that sand to be the star of this soap. So let's get going. Right, now I haven't mixed that very much because we really do have a lot of other mixing to do. So let's start separating out. In fact, we'll get rid of this so that I'm not trying to balance too much. Right, so for my sand, now Noosa has got some really pretty coloured sand. It is known for having white sand on some of its beaches, but it also has a lot of gold and peach sort of colours. So in here I have gone for a little bit of Aztec gold. I have got some vintage rose mica in this one, and then I've got a colour in this end jug that I don't often, in fact I very rarely use it in soap making. It is called Marigold, and the reason I don't use it, it's a beautiful colour. I use it in my lip balms, and when my micro obsession sold out to Heirloom never actually got the Marigold in as part of the range, so I kind of hang on to my little pot that I've got so I can keep making the lip balm, mainly because it's my favourite flavour in the lip balm. Now what I am going to do with that gold, just to tone it down just a little bit, in fact in all of them, I'm going to add in just the tiniest amount of titanium dioxide, and it is quite literally tiny because there's not much left. I have to mix some more up, but it will be just enough to tone down those colours. Let's get that bit mixed in. In fact, before we do that, so I can make sure that I'm not left with too much soap, I am going to pour out my ocean colours as well. I will be using some white in this one, or titanium dioxide. I have some sea mist in this one. This one here was some aquamarine, and then finally I have some Catalina blue, and I've gone quite light on these colors because I want the sand to be the main thing. So let's finish separating this out into my sand, because as I said, that's what the main feature of this soap is going to be. Just finish splitting them out, and then we'll get the sand colours mixed in first. Right, so I'm going to start by splitting this sand up. In fact, no we won't, because I don't have much mixing space in there. So I'm actually going to start by pouring my fragrance in here. I have got one here called Soak in the Sun, and then I just added a few other little bits to it just to get a really nice sort of smell that I think matches in with Noosa. Noosa is a very, I don't know how to say it, it's a very posh area. It's a very much so a tourist destination, lots of boutique shops, expensive restaurants, beautiful beaches up there as well. When hubby and I went up after we'd collected the sands, we went for a walk down the high street, and I actually did see a couple of things in some of the shops, and there was a beautiful dress in one of them, and I thought, oh, I'd love to go in and just have a look at that. But when I looked at the assistant in there, I said to Matt, I'm not going in there, I don't feel like I belong in that shop. It's just that sort of environment. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a nice place to go and visit for the day, but it's definitely not mine and hubby's cup of tea, that's for sure. This has riced just a little bit, but from memory I did some little Razor Sunshine with it, and I know that just giving it a little bit of a mix helped to take out that ricing. And you know what, we're also adding the sand in, so you're not really going to feel those grains of rice from the fragrance. Let's separate the sand between all of these in here. I mean, probably another reason hubby and I don't really like Noosa much is because we are very much so country people. I far prefer going to places like Mullaney, where you've got those just beautiful open fields and all the fresh country air. You don't come back covered in sand and salt and feel like you need a shower to get rid of all the beach from off of you. But yeah, we're very much so more country people, but if you do like the beach, Noosa is actually quite a nice place to go and visit. I think I actually might need to get the stick blender in there because the sand very much settles to the bottom. creating a lovely mess today. I have actually just noticed that not all of that colour picked up from the bottom. Let's give it a bit of a stir. Now I'm thinking that this is actually it's thick but fluid. So what I'm actually thinking we might do is go and get another jug, because I love washing up, and we'll actually do a pour into the jug before putting it in the mould. Alright, so I've just got this jug here, and all I'm going to do is a bit of a dirty pour in here. This is what I was actually going to do with the water. So it's going to look like I'm just repeating myself, but I think that this is going to give me a much nicer looking sand. We'll just give it a little bit of a swirl while we're doing so. I'm loving the colours together. Looks very beachy. So I don't think I actually finished explaining the fragrance. I was trying to go with something that I felt really kind of depicted Noosa with its sort of boutique-y style, posh sort of environment that it has. So I really liked this Soak in the Sun. It's got sort of peach notes in it, along with a bit of beachy theme as well. And then I just popped in a couple of other things just to make it feel a little bit richer and grander as well. And it's come up really, really nice. As I said, I did try it in my Rays of Sunshine, and it's held well. It hasn't discolored or anything like that, so really quite pleased with it. All right, now that we've got that in there and we've made a bit more mess, let's grab the mold back. And well, we've got mess on my bench. Oh well, let's pour this in, trying to make sure that I don't pour it down that side of the mold. Let's find a clip so I can clip it up just while I'm pouring this soap in. Now what I actually do want to do with this soap is put my sand so that it's on an angle. And kind of get almost like a sandbar sort of look. So we'll get this all scraped out, and then I'll use my spatula just to pull the sand up to one side, and that will, it's looking really nice. It will all make sense once it's kind of done. And I know you can't really see from that angle. I am still working on the whole angle thing for the videos. We've got a bit more soap down that end. So let's do that. Pretty happy with how that is now looking. I have got sandy gritty stuff everywhere. It's horrible. What we're going to do is move on to doing the water bit. Now, because I know that this does rise a little bit, but it plays well, I'm actually just going to pop my fragrance oil into my soap batter now. We'll mix them up, and then I've just cleaned out that jug, and I'm still going to go ahead and do the pour that I wanted to do for my water, and then we'll pour it into our soap here. Alright, so now we've got the blue in there. While I was doing that, I realised I have made a mistake while making this soap. Not in terms of not putting fragrance or anything like that in there. I forgot that I've just added 300 grams worth of sand, which of course takes up volume within the soap, and I haven't discounted my oils at all. So I'm going to really pull this soap up here to get a nice high top. above that water line. Hopefully I haven't completely messed this up, because a lot of effort has gone into this, that huge trip up to Noosa. But you know what, probably will still work. Alright, I'm not going to mess around too much because I don't want that blue setting up. Let's pour it in down the side, and we've gone for those real pale colours, as I said. Kind of gives that almost Hampton style of look, but really liking the colour that it's come up. I'm going to keep pouring all this in. We'll texture the top and then I'll give you a closer look. Okay, so there is Noosa Sands in the mold, and I'm really happy with that. I decided to see if I could get the water to be overlapping the sand, and I'm so pleased with how that has turned up. So I'm now going to leave this one sit, and we'll be back in a moment, and we'll cut it open and see what we've got on the inside. Alright, we are ready to cut into Noosa Sands, and it has definitely come up the colours that I wanted. I love the colour of the sand there. It really does represent the sort of sand dunes that you can find in Noosa, and that sort of watery colour. I was really trying to go for the Hampton style of colouring, that sort of decor, because that is what Noosa really is to me, Australian's version of the Hampton sort of thing. So really pleased with how those colours came up. Just getting it lined up so we get a fairly decent end piece cut off here, and then let's cut through and see what swirls we've got. Now, considering that has got that sand in, I actually didn't feel any of the grittiness. Now, I haven't got my tray. Let me go and grab one. I like to always put my soap straight onto a tray. Just means minimal handling, easy transportation, and oh my goodness, that is absolutely gorgeous. Depending which way you're looking at that, you could actually just be standing on the beach and looking up and seeing those waves crashing along the beach line. I was trying to go a bit more for the sandbar look, which I suppose it could be as well, but absolutely love how that has come up. Really nice. Love those swirls. I didn't think I'd get too many in the sandy color because it was quite thick with all that sand, but it has come up nice, and I love doing that technique for the water as well because it just gives that real watery sort of look to it. But really pleased. It is smelling absolutely beautiful. Again, I really was aiming for that Hampton sort of feel with this one, because as I said before, that is just to me what Noosa really is. But really pleased with it. Now, I'm probably only actually going to create one of these bars of soap, and then I will think of another area to do for another part of this range of soaps, simply because I don't feel it's right to go and take any more sand from off the beach than what I have already done. But really pleased with this one. So this is going to be a very limited edition soap here. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me as I made my Noosa Sands soap. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.